Welcome back everyone, and thanks for joining me once again for another episode of the FIFA 15 European Super League, which consists of 20 of the finest teams across Europe, including Manchester United, of course, the team that I've decided to use for this season, Real Madrid, Barcelona and Bayern Munich. Our first game to get going will be at Old Trafford against Bayern Munich. I mean, what a way to start this. There's going to be incredible games week in, week out. I mean, after this we would be travelling to the San Siro to face AC Milan, and we've got Barcelona coming up very soon. As I mentioned in the first episode, it's like the Champions League but better. There's just no messing around with this European Super League. I mean, in the Champions League, in the group stages, you can be drawn against some of the smaller, weaker sides in Europe. Not in this case. It's going to be week in, week out, these immense fixtures. You know, one week we're going to be playing Barcelona, the next we're going to be playing Real Madrid, and the week after that we'll be playing Juventus. There's going to be no let-up. There's no group stages or quarters or semi-finals. None of that. But there will be 38 games for each team to get through. It's going to be tough. It's going to be grueling. And I tell you what, whoever does come out on top come the last game of the season, they're going to thoroughly deserve it, without a doubt, because look at all the world-class teams in this league. That's why it's the European Super League. And let's not forget as well, as I mentioned in the last episode, I'm going to be playing all 38 games on Legendary, so I'm really putting myself to the test here on FIFA, because normally when I do a career mode, I'll switch up from time to time from World Class to Legendary, and the majority of the time I find myself playing on World Class. But not this time. It's going to be a massive task for me to try and win this European Super League with Manchester United, as you saw in the last episode as well. I was only given a budget of 52 million to spend in the summer. I signed the likes of Dani Alves, brought in Gundogan from Dortmund, and I've got a bit of money left over. I also did put in an offer for Memphis Depay, and you'll be able to find out a bit later on in this episode whether I managed to capture his signature. But I think it's time I should discuss about what happened in this game against Bayern Munich, the opening day of the European Super League. I did think that I conceded a penalty here to Bayern Munich right in the Stretford end with just 31 minutes gone, but it turned out that it was Mario Götze that made the challenge. You'll see on the replay here, he goes diving header looking for the ball, but it was De Gea that got to it. I'm not too sure what Götze was thinking. He was nowhere near the ball. Instead, he wipes out a bit of De Gea and also Phil Jones, and concedes the free kick, and I was happy that we didn't concede the penalty before half-time, especially in front of the Stretford end. You can see Di Maria picked up a bit of a knock on his shoulder. He was really feeling it, and I was thinking maybe he might be able to shrug it off. Maybe he'll be, feeling better come the second half. Thomas Müller for Bayern Munich was looking very eager to get on the score sheet to get his team in front before that half-time whistle was blown, but fortunately, De Gea said no and clasped the ball in his hands. Both keepers have been sensational. Manchester United controlling that first half, but Bayern Munich certainly had more opportunities on goal and were looking more threatening. And you'd expect that, with the game being on Legendary. But in the second half, it was time for Manchester United to turn up the heat in this game. We were facing the Stretford end, and we had to give the fans something, especially on the opening day of the season. Fellaini and Rooney with a great bit of passing play, and I decided to leave Di Maria on for a little bit longer, see if he could shrug it off. I mean, he had a good opportunity there, Fellaini, with a little dink to him, and Di Maria was looking for that little half volley, but there were too many bodies in the area. He was unable to get his shot away and get it on target, making Neuer work. But in the 58th minute, Bayern Munich came ever so close to getting that first goal, and if it wasn't for Smalling for just sticking his foot out, the smallest of things saved United from going a goal down, it probably would have been the winner as well because of how tight this game actually was. Lewandowski, he was poised, and he probably would have found the back of the net if Smalling wasn't there. And in the end, both teams simply couldn't break the deadlock. We just kept cancelling each other out. You can see we only managed to get 2 shots, and one of those were on target. De Gea thoroughly deserved that Man of the Match award. But then again, so did Neuer, who also had a fantastic game in goal, keeping that clean sheet. So, one game down, 37 more to go, and at the end of the first day of this European Super League, it's Inter Milan that sit on top of the pile but level on points with Barcelona, Arsenal, Dortmund, Chelsea, Real Madrid, Benfica and Monaco, whereas Porto, Man City, Bayern and Manchester United came away with just a point. Now, as you guys will remember, in the previous episode I did put in a bid for PSV's Memphis Depay, who has just recently signed on the dotted line for Manchester United in real life. I put in an offer of 24 million, close to the real amount in real life, and they did accept, and of course Depay accepted the 70,000 a week contract offer. He couldn't turn down a move to Manchester United to come to Old Trafford to play in this European Super League. It was then on to our second game of this Super League season. We would find ourselves travelling to Italy to play at the San Siro against another fine European side in AC Milan. I'm probably going to find myself saying that quite a lot throughout this little series. Now, some would compare AC Milan to Manchester United in real life, you know, when David Moyes took over at United 2 seasons ago, and the way we performed, it was dire, and our final league position that season as well, down 7th. And AC Milan, it seems as though they found the Man United blues in a way. They turned the opposite way and started going down the table. And I mean, last season in real life, they haven't even made the Champions League. I think they finished mid-table. Poor from AC Milan's point of view, and the same goes for Inter Milan as well. I just don't know what's going on. It seems a bit weird, because I've always known AC and Inter Milan to be in the Champions League, to be battling it out for top spot in Serie A. Just seems ever so weird. Anyway, I did shuffle the pack ever so slightly for this away game against AC Milan. In came Gundogan for Michael Carrick in that central defensive mid role. And Angel Di Maria was fit for this one, so of course I was going to start him, but I was surprised that he was ready and able to get out there at the San Siro after he fell funny on his shoulder in that previous game against Bayern Munich. And taking into account as well on FIFA, when a player does get injured, they normally take like a couple of days later to recoup and bring themselves back up to match fitness. So I was just surprised that Di Maria was ready to take on AC Milan. Also, Juan Mata started in the lineup instead of Marouane Fellaini. I was thinking maybe we could use Fellaini as like a super sub to come in and take control of midfield if needed. Now, unfortunately, we did go a goal down against AC Milan, just under half an hour gone. It was a goal from Jeremy Menez, but the setup was perfectly executed by Milan. Honda, who took the ball down the right channel, fed the ball through to Polly. It was good passage of play from them two, as you can see in the replay. And Polly with just a simple back heel to Jeremy Menez, who had loads of time to line up his shot, and he struck that beating David De Gea, making it 1-0. I thought we had clawed a goal back and found that equaliser from captain Wayne Rooney, but he put that one wide. It just goes, it's a whisker away from hitting that right side of the post and just going in across the line. So he had to keep digging deep and trying to find a way back in this game. And in the second half, pretty much as soon as we kicked off, Montolivo here, I mean, it's poor defending from Manchester United, and of course we went on to concede a second goal. It would be Jeremy Menez at this point on for a hat-trick. You'll see on the replay it's poor defending. Montolivo, it was a poor cross from Montolivo, and he'll be very happy that something actually came from it. The blame can certainly be put on both Phil Jones and Chris Smalling. I mean, Phil Jones probably should have got a touch to that as the ball was being whipped in. And Chris Smalling, how he allowed Menez to get around him, I don't know. It was poor from Manchester United. Very, very shoddy, and we're not going to get anywhere if we continue like that at the back against some of Europe's finest teams. As the match progressed, AC Milan, of course, were looking for a third goal, looking to finish Manchester United off in front of the home fans. They had that corner there, but we managed to break. And you can see Radamel Falcao, who would come on for Ander Herrera, a bit of a tactical substitution there, was surrounded by 3-4 AC Milan shirts and a bit of skill here and there. And I decided to just hit it just inside the penalty area on his left, and he curls that around. And you'll see in a minute, you might be able to see it from this replay, that the ball fortunately took a deflection off Ram's head, and you'll see it right here. There you go, just knocking Diego Lopez off his game as the ball goes whizzing past him. Manchester United back in this then after making it 2-1, and the last 10-15 minutes was all Manchester United. Rooney took the corner there, the ball finally falling to the feet of Chris Smalling, and he wallops that into the crowd, missing that chance to get an equaliser so late in this game. We did have one final chance, which came from Wayne Rooney, and the ball went whizzing wide of the actual target. The final whistle was blown. AC Milan were the winners. The final score 2-1. We gave it our all, and I thought we deserved a little bit more from this game, but we're just going to have to take this defeat and move on. I know it hasn't been the best of starts to this European Super League. With a draw and a loss, we need to pick ourselves up, and I think we can do that in our next game, which will be at home against Shakhtar, which you'll be able to see in the next episode. But to finish up here, the transfer deadline day, just whizzing through this because I felt as though I made all my signings for the summer with Depay, Gundogan and Dani Alves. And you'll be able to see all the business from all the teams in this European Super League on the left there. But the top deal in the summer was when Aguero moved to Real Madrid for the sum of 59.5 million. That's huge, with Depay coming in second to Manchester United for 24, and of course Gundogan moved to United from Dortmund for 23 million. Atletico Madrid signed Dzeko and Costa. I don't think that's Diego Costa from Chelsea. It can't be. Chelsea, no, it can't, because obviously it would show up there for players out. Barcelona didn't really do much business, nor did Bayern Munich. FC Porto were pretty busy. They signed Gomez and Johnny Evans. Shakhtar sold 2 players of theirs into Milan. Nothing from them. Juventus the same. Very surprised at this. Liverpool haven't signed anyone. Man City sold Aguero and Dzeko. You can see for Manchester United, players in and players out. PSG signed Bentaleb from Tottenham. PSV signed Dennis for 4.9 million. Real Madrid spent 72 million in total. They're going to be the team to beat in this European Super League. And that, folks, is pretty much it for the transfer window and for this episode. Thanks for watching.